Hey guys, welcome back to the Acoustic Shoppe channel. I am John, here today with Jeremy and his golden mandolin.
It's pretty. But we're not talking about this mandolin. We're talking about that guitar.
We're going to talk about this guitar. This is another staple in the Acoustic Shoppe list of guitar inventory. This is the Eastman E10D. Well, we are back once more, and we are talking about a powerhouse guitar that has been around forever. I own one. You don't own one because you're not good enough to own one. But if you were good enough to own one, you would have
I don't know where you're going with this, but it's a great guitar for anyone to own. Before we get into the details of the guitar and talking about the features of it, I invite you guys to subscribe to this channel, and wherever you're watching this, make sure you like this, share it with friends and family, and people that you may have just met on the street. Just give them a copy of the video. Say, hey, have you seen this video?
Yep.
Check it out. If you want to skip all the talking,
just walk up. Hey, look at this, watch this. You need to see this.
Anyway, we do appreciate all that. It helps the channel grow and it helps us do what we're doing. But also, if you want to skip over, we have a complete version of that song where I missed a few notes on it, but most of them were... They were usable
even
notes,
more
I guess.
notes, so we're all good.
But we have a complete video of that you can watch and leave all your comments on. And then we also have some tone samples at the end of this video, and all that's in the details and description below. So if you want to skip all that, you can do that. Don't flame us about talking too much, because that's what we're going to do for the next few minutes.
That's all we do. We talk. That's what this show is all about.
We played. If you're only here to hear the music, then you don't want to see a Ricky Skaggs concert. That's all I got to say.
Whoa!
30 minutes of talking and 2 minutes of playing. Yeah, sorry, Ricky. It's true.
I'm sorry, it's true. All right. Anyway, we are talking about the E10D today. This guitar is the best-selling guitar of the Eastman lineup. This was the one that everybody had to have, gave you so many features, sounded fabulous, and put it at a price tag that was absolutely unbeatable. The E10D gives you a lot of specs. It is a mahogany back and sides, tortoise binding, which some of the early ones actually were in black binding. Again, part of the evolution of the D18 was also black as well as tortoise binding. But this one gave you the Adirondack spruce top, or red spruce, ebony bridge, ebony fretboard. Even has the maple bridge plate, which is of the the earlier versions of the D18. That's basically what this guitar was. I think its claim to fame was that specs-wise, it was almost identical to the Martin D18 Golden Era, which you own one of those.
See, I am good enough for one of those.
And I play Jeremy's actually quite a bit. I also do own an E10D that I got. It's kind of a weird oddball one, but I absolutely love it. It has become one of my favorite guitars that I own. And, you know, it's one of those situations where this is a comparable guitar to your high-end boutique level guitars that are out there, especially if you're looking for a mahogany guitar with a red spruce top. You're going to have a hard time beating this. It's just such a great price point. When these first came out, they were right around the $1,000 point. They've come up a few $100 since then, but still not much more than what it would be to just get an upgrade of an Adirondack spruce top from most of these boutique builders.
And we did a video on the E20D talking a little bit more in depth about the difference in the Adirondack spruce top, and that Eastman actually sources theirs from the same place. A lot of your big name manufacturers are getting those same tops here in Missouri, actually.
Yep.
Old standard mills a lot of the guitar tops out of Adirondack spruce top. So same top you're getting that big upgrade price tag for already in this guitar.
Absolutely. So it's just such a great value. And like I said, this is one of those guitars where you could easily compare it to a high-end $4,000 or $6,000 guitar and not feel disappointed in any way. I know that's hard to say. I love a lot of these great manufacturers they're building, and I'm not saying there's not little things that those guitars can do a little bit better, or maybe not as well. I will say, for my personal belief, I prefer my E10D, Jeremy's not gonna like this, to his D18 Golden Era. I find it to be a louder, punchier guitar, has more low end, and it does more of what I want. Now that's saying a lot. I'm not saying it to dog on anything, but his guitar is a fantastic, I honestly believe it's one of the best ones of that series from Martin that I have personally played. It's a fantastic Golden Era, but for what I was looking for out of a guitar, I prefer my E10D to it. So, and I'm not the only one. This has actually been done. There's been hundreds of videos all over the YouTubes and the Facebooks and the internets where they've done these comparisons, and they've always stacked up either within reason the same, sometimes a little bit below, sometimes a little bit above, and that really
and that's
saying
even
something.
without putting price in as a contributing factor to your grading scale. Just tone by tone playability, they definitely stack up very similar and right in that range with the D18. And that's kind of why it has become one of our best selling guitars in the shop. We sell a lot of these in their different iterations, and there's good reason for it. The mahogany is kind of known for being a little bit more of a flat picker style guitar. You get a little bit more clarity to your notes than maybe the rosewood is. A great rhythm guitar, but for soloing and stuff, fast, flat picking, mahogany seems to be the go-to.
You're
choice.
definitely seeing that as a change. It's so funny because I remember when I was really young, starting out in guitar playing. This would have been in the early to mid 80s. Boy, that's a long time ago, man. Anyway, back then, a lot of people just didn't like mahogany guitars. In fact, the D28s were the official guitar for everybody. You had to have a rosewood guitar, and hardly anybody wanted mahogany. I think what people were not recognizing was D28's rosewood guitar has so much more low end richness, thickness, and most of those guitars were being used as rhythm guitars, which really does help a lot. Now with more modern players, a lot of them are more flat pick lead type players, and they tend to kind of enjoy that brightness and that mid-range pop that mahogany adds to guitars. It just gives you a little bit more. I mean, this has a lot of low end. But what really stands out is that, mids for leads.
To me, it almost seems like rosewood has a little bit more sustain to it, so that the previous note you played is still kind of resonating. So
I can see
it kind
that.
of rolls over onto the next note and kind of clouds it up a little bit, where these are just much more tight and precise and clear. It's almost like putting a compressor on a guitar or in the studio, where it's just getting rid of some of those in-between notes and just really tightening it up. So I think that helps with that fast, flat picking to get a clean sounding note, and it's not just kind of all rolling over on top of it.
I also think this still goes into my theory that we've talked about a lot of times here on the channel as well as in the shop, which is high-end frequencies tend to be perceived as louder. And again, guitars, especially in the bluegrass world or in jam sessions or acoustically with group settings, tend to kind of get buried. The frequency range that they sit in is not known to be as outstanding. So, having a little bit more brightness, a little bit more mid-range pop tends to make that stuff stand out a little bit better. And, to me, I think that's why I tend to purchase more mahogany guitars for that. I would say for me, I only own one rosewood guitar. I would like to change that. But for that reason, I think when I would play in a group setting, the mahogany guitars tend to kind of stand out a little bit more, give me a little bit more oomph, and power. So there you go. That's kind of our review of this. Again, a fantastic guitar. These do come in a 1 3/4 inch nut width. So this is more the modern vintage specs on these guitars. Again, the new changes that have been coming by way of Bourgeois and the tie-in of Dana and Eastman has now kind of gained a few upgrades. They are now doing some new thinner bracing that they were able to work out by talking with Dana, and also some new finishes. Just a few little add-ons and stuff. So
the traditional series, and we did another video on this, is maintaining the dovetail joint that Eastman is known for, where more of their HC series and their more modern design will be using the tone tight system designed by Dana. But all these traditional ones, including the E10, E8, E6, E20, are all going to be that dovetail joint, which we got real cool thing early on. Eastman sent us a couple guitars that got damaged and cut the back off so we could demonstrate to people with the bracing and all that. And I know definitely they sent us mandolin that had that. And they are some skilled craftsmen on those dovetail joints. It was one of the tightest dovetail joints I've seen because it was like a cross section of it. And that is a very technical skill that probably does add more time to it, and that's why a tone tight neck system is probably more repeatable and consistent, where this is going to take a little more time. And we did a whole video on does it make a difference. Check that out if you're interested in seeing the dovetail joint versus the tone tight system.
There is an actual audible difference between the two guitars.
But just for your knowledge, we did get some accidentally in where they were testing out the tone tight system on the traditional, but they decided after that they are going to continue to do the dovetail joint.
That is correct. So this is a great traditional bluegrass flat picking dread. If you've been kind of contemplating something, and even if the budget is not your main concern, I would put this in my list of mahogany dreads. No matter what my price point is, I would play one of these and see if it fits your needs, because for me, I will tell you, I will stack up my E10D against anybody's. It's about 8 years old now, and I don't think there's anything that I know of that's going to totally blow it out. So definitely something to check out. E10D from Eastman. Try it, and now we'll give you a little bit of a tone sample of it.
And we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms. They're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.